Good evening all, Dean McCrae here, Liberal Democrat candidate for the Riverina in the upcoming federal election. Welcome to my new channel, Riverina Rebellion. On this particular channel, slightly different to my Resolute TV channel, but feel free to check that out. On this channel, I'm going to be inviting other liberty-loving guests to have some really short discussions, some policy discussions. We're going to stick to 10 to 15 minutes tops. And we're going to discuss the Freedom Manifesto. We're going to break it down with some of the other candidates. I'm going to introduce you to some other Liberal Democrat candidates you may or may not have heard of, so that if you're not in the Riverina and you can't support me directly, you'll be able to support these guys if they're in the electorates that are more suitable for yourselves. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, the upcoming federal election, I consider it to be the most important that Australia's had, at least in the last 50 years, possibly last 100 years. It's hugely important regarding our liberties and freedoms. If we don't get this right, if we give too much power to the major four parties, Australia's done as the country that we knew it as. The country my father and grandfather grew up in. My grandfather fought for Australia in the military. My older half-brother also served our country. And as such, I think it's really, really important that they didn't go through the experiences they went through underneath the Australian flag in vain. I think it's very important that freedom and liberty is a major part of the Australian culture going forward. I also think it's a major part of what our children should be learning is Australian culture now. And I'm happy to stand on that hill. And if need be, we'll say die on that hill. And as many of you may or may not know, I've been fighting this fight for liberty for many years now. And this year is no different. We've had COVID, but lead-in for COVID was bushfires and then flooding, and then we've had 2 years of COVID mania. Now, I'm not going to give any medical advice on this channel, but COVID is a thing, and our Liberal Democratic Party has policies around managing it that I feel are only 100,000 times better than anything put forward so far by Liberal, Labor, Nationals or Greens. The Liberal Democrats have been in existence for over 20 years. I've been a member for not quite half of their existence, but certainly as soon as I discovered who the Liberal Democrats were and what they stood for, and the fact that they are a party of principle. We can't be bought or sold unless what you're selling us is freedom and liberty for the Australian people. And we've had quite a few members of parliament at various levels. We had a federal senator, we've had a couple of state senators, and we've had some great councillors all around the nation over the last few years. So during the time the Liberal Democrats has existed, and they have unwaveringly stood by our basic principles of we will never vote for or support an increase in taxes, nor will we ever vote for or support a decrease in your personal liberties. So they're our basic two rules. If our candidates don't meet and stick by those basic two rules, they're out on their backside. Sorry guys, no cigar, so to speak. Now our Freedom Manifesto is a 10-point document designed to save Australia from its current malaise and the current poor state that we're in. What we're going to do is over the next once a week or depending on the guests and how available they are, we're going to get together and we're going to have a chat. We're going to do some dissecting of the policies, and then what we're also going to do is we're going to organise some Q&A sessions going forward on the channel. So if you're into freedom and you're into liberty, this will be live streamed on Facebook. It'll be live streamed on my Twitter. It will also go on, obviously, YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, and everywhere else we can get it up on. Guitar is up now as well. So look, that's the long and the short of it. In the upcoming federal election, here's what I'm going to say. Do not donkey vote. Vote your favourite minor party first, preferably Lib Dems, but if you choose One Nation, UAP, Independence, I'm good with that. Anything's better than the majors. What I'd love to see though is that all the minor parties work together to really condense votes to try and get some really good people into Parliament for a change. and the incumbent, put them last. Put those incumbents last. Let's show these big parties, these totalitarians. Well, they're authoritarians. They're not quite totalitarians yet. But if we let them keep going, they are going to become totalitarians. All we've got to do is give them enough rope, and they'll be more than happy to hang themselves on the totalitarian post. That's how they're heading. That's where we're going. And as such, put the incumbent last. Best favourite small party first. Work at everything in between, everything in the middle. So look, guys, look out for what's coming. It'll be a far more serious program. Resolute's a lot of fun. This is where we just sticking to policy and focusing on strictly business and strictly policy and strictly let's liberate Australia. Thank you, guys. I look forward to your support.